Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think there is a slight delay though. Hold. Action. If you're yes. Unless you're of the Ferengi that think gold is worth nothing, then you're an old Ferengi, but not wrong until they change the canon. But you know, if you're a trill that has no spots, I mean, what do you want? You know. But that was a whole different episode. Could we even do top 10 trill and they all just be Dax? Because there's obviously like we see like 5 Daxes. Because seriously, I think at least 2 of them should be Dax, if you do top 10 trill. Because they're different personalities within a personality, you know. Okay, good. Okay, good. Hey. Yes. Oh goodness, very much so. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Oh. Oh. Oh, hold on, they're saying no sound for you even though you've got a waveform. Yeah, say something. Well, guys, I think you might have audio. Can you hear audio note? Oh, you got audio on my end, so why is it not going through OBS? It's showing you. Okay. Get me do now say something? I changed to the other dial, but so he's muted even though the thing says he's not muted. There's no reason why. I mean, you could try calling me back. Maybe it's just not going through on your end. Maybe, I don't know. There's nothing here that's saying. Nothing here that should imply it's wrong. I mean, otherwise just restart OBS is all I can suggest. There's nothing here that. Okay. Weird. Huh. Obviously, I can hear you, and you can hear me, and I mean, I can obviously hear you, and both OBS can hear. No, I don't. I just have to close OBS because there's no reason why it wouldn't. I don't know. Oh, I wonder if it's yeah, but it's showing you audio. I wonder if it's doing the thing where it refused to actually play audio like it did that one time before it updated. I wonder if they've disconnected themselves again. Because I can hear you and the computer can hear you, but if it says, no, you're Skype, I don't like Skype. Maybe that's why. Why don't I call you on Facebook and see if you come through as audio? Because then it'll be OBS or if it's Skype. Yeah. Because you're perfect on my end. Alright, I'll call you on Facebook then. See you in a minute. Bye. Bye. Very strange, guys. Everything's working on my end. Let's see if it's Skype or is it... Coming. Oh, it says he's not on, that's why. Come on, Stuart, log in. There he is. So you tell us if this now comes through. Can you hear the dial tone, guys? Can you hear the dial tone? Anybody? It's a very loud dial tone. It's not picking up. No, dial tone wasn't coming through either. Huh. No, that didn't pick it up either. Huh. Oh, sorry, Andrew. That's very strange. Okay, so... just doesn't like audio coming through. Huh. Don't know what to say, obviously, because if it's all working on my end... I mean, okay, can you hear... Okay, so I'm going to play a video, or, well, get 5 for music. Play this for a second. Can you hear this? Okay, did that come through? Oh, it's not just not playing anything on the system. No, just nothing on the desktop is coming through. Huh. I mean, I'll close that and restart OBS then, because that's... okay. Bye. Alright, well that's... new version. Can you hear me? Anybody and everybody? Let me recall Stuart and let's see if that comes through. Oh, look, I'm in Stuart's spot.
Hello.
So I've updated OBS.
Okay.
Which only took seconds, because I don't know why. And now we're in our appropriate boxes and we're streaming, so you tell me, according to the thing, are we audioing or not? Because it's the only thing I can suggest.
Okay, let's see. Hold on.
1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1.
Yes, I can hear myself now.
Ah!
Yay, that works.
So basically, OBS disabled a feature to make you need to update it.
Fuck OBS.
Yeah, what a douchebag move. And now we're on the Mandalorian, apparently. There we go. That's like such a weird, dodgy thing to do.
So chapter 9 of The Mandalorian. The Crate Dragon was pretty cool to see.
It was.
Jesus.
But I mean, hey, it makes sense if they, they forced us into a corner, so we had to. I mean, good marketing, I guess.
Well, let's start again. Welcome to Ferengi.
Yes!
Everybody must contribute at least 1 strip of gold press latinum to this live to make our profits profitable. There's a rule, Ferengi rule of acquisition number 281 that says you must, super chat to Trekyards.
Oh, but, Stuart, it managed to put us back onto the other live.
I know, I noticed that.
Well, that's good. So people that stayed with us, we are still here. God, so it took away a feature, gave us a new feature. For goodness sake. Okay, hello, yes, exactly. And if you're a lady in the chat, obviously naked is not optional because, depending if Rom is Grand Nagus or not, it's not our, it's not us, it's them.
We've already got some great super chats, which I actually read 1, 2.
Well, I thought you did a great job at reading them, Stuart. I thought you did.
Time.
The first time.
And I don't want to be that guy. I'm going to say, well, I'll reread the super chats. It's not a problem. But I was going to say, when I was doing this list, I couldn't really think of many Ferengi, so I looked some up, right? I hate to be that guy, but all Ferengi look alike. They really do. They're not super distinguishable from each other. So I just went with the most memorable ones for my list. I'm just putting that out there to begin with. So
I will admit that yes, I assumed this would be easier than it was. This is my hardest list so far.
It was, yes.
Because the winners are obvious. Everyone else is scratching your head. And yes, it's remarkable because how many times do you ever think I'm gonna go research Ferengi, like really research, and you do find the makeup. At some point, they're probably using the same heads, and it's just the faces, like for some of them, and so there's a lot of commonality. And obviously, they're all the same color skin. Not to sound weird, but they're all the color skin. There's very few females. That's one of the points, and they're almost the same, roughly the same age. So yes, extremely unvaried.
Well, that being said, there was a fat one. There was a lot of old ones.
Oh yeah, there's a couple
females,
but all of them.
There are a few different colors as well. Kind of like a tan. There's an orange. There's
But if I said it's hard to think of which one's which, and obviously all the secondaries. Whereas Romulans, it was like some just stand out. Now I do think though, because Romulans have an advantage of being a bit more villainous, Ferengi are sort of goofy villainous and they don't stand out as much. I mean, I think I picked a couple of interesting ones, as obviously you have to. But I'm interested to see where we come here, because yeah, obviously I know the 4 that are gonna be in, but where are we gonna? Who did we?
Interesting to see the list for sure.
So Stuart, super chats then, people, yes.
Yes. Olivia Julius, $2.
Yes.
May your profits be profitable.
Yes.
Thank you, Grand Negus.
Yes, and we know this goes bad, Stuart. We know it goes bad.
Yes. Olivia Julius, $10.
Thanks.
We are saddened by the loss of our Grand Negus Rom. To remember him, we're selling bits of him. A memorialized keepsake edible noodles. That's right, even you can have Rom in noodles. Rom in noodles. That's really good, Olivia. I love that. I was giving you a lot of praise, and it's like, oh, they can't hear me. Shit. So, thank you. Good job. Olivia Julius, $5. Keeping up with the legacy of Quark's mother, I've decided to come to this stream with my clothes on.
I mean, that's one way of interpreting the Ferengi culture. Depends if you're a classicist or a literalist or a radical, or just not very nice naked. I mean, there's varying degrees, aren't there, to be fair?
Oh, yes, yes. Eugene, 1,000 rubles.
Never thought I'd say that in a live stream, but in context, it makes sense.
Nope. I'm just trying to change the subject.
Yes.
1,000 rubles. Thank you, Eugene. Won't be here for long, so I'm hoping you'll mention Magnificent Lek, who is not your typical Ferengi, and whose priorities are different than theirs. Lek.
Yes, their names also don't inspire tremendous amounts of who's who.
Yeah, no.
I mean, there is research at least. Yes, made from Ferengi guy.
Yes. I have the Memory Alpha Ferengi page up with them all listed here, so I can just look into whoever I need to.
Yes.
Fleet Pass Swiftback, $2.
Dang.
Brunt FCA is blocking this transmission.
I think he was.
I think he was. We didn't pay our royalties this
A
month.
Brunt bill.
Yeah. All right.
I'll start sharing, and you talk about the profiteering nature of YouTube and how, if you own a moon, the viewers go up. If you do weapons trade, especially, teeth sharpening tools, very big view on YouTube. And I just stole some of your jokes there, potential jokes, but I'll let you jump in and do your own Ferengi jokes of YouTube. See you in a minute, bye.
Bastard. Hi guys. Yeah, so super chats are a great way to support the Ferengi Trade Commission over here at Trekyards. As you know, YouTube is run by Ferengi, and they're very greedy. So if you can help out in any way that you're able to, that'd be awesome. Super chats are a great way to get your comment read or noticed. Don't forget, you can also join the channel and support us on a monthly basis. Like I said, we've got a few Grand Neguses in here. Olivia Julius, Ozzy, Mark Lawrence, and I believe I have another one as well, which for usually Federation President, but today it's Grand Negus. So join at any of those membership ranks, and that also supports us or helps us out. And you can also join us on Patreon/Trekyards to help us on a monthly basis over there as well. If you want to send a PayPal, that's also a thing you can do. Just send it to trekyards@hotmail.com. Let us know in the chat that you've actually sent a PayPal, and we will read the email via that. So read the comment via email. Oh my goodness, today words, yeah. So anyway, yeah. Also, yes. Oh yes. Merchandise. you can get merchandise. Go down to the Teespring store down below, check out that, and let us know if there's anything you're interested in. Order it. That's all you have to do, really. Just order it. And also, Ecomoss. Ecomoss. Click the link down below. You can go get save yourself 10%, which with the discount code Trekyards 10 on checkout. Very good idea. Helps you out, helps us out, helps the channel out, and it's just adding to your collection of cool things. So if you can, please do. Yeah, they're making this pay just to sit down, stand up, or taking the elevator. Olivia Julius, $2. That's right, Samuel. Kiss my staff. That sounds so wrong, Olivia. So wrong. I wish I had a cousin Gala with his own moon. Yeah, no kidding. Eugene, I'll get to your super chat in just a second as soon as Samuel's back, but I'll also read Olivia's again because I shouldn't really read it with you when he's not here. So anyway, he's sharing that around to get more viewers in here. 70 people here. That is great. 44 likes, also great, but I think we can easily hit 60. 16 more likes, guys. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Try to get us up to 60 if you're able to. We'd really appreciate that. We do love chatting with you guys and having you guys all join us for these. So I'm really running out of things to say. One strip of latnium equals 112 US dollars. That's interesting. Where'd you get that number from? Dan23, if he calls you a Ferengi, he means you have big ears. I mean, yeah. Do you want to stroke my lobes? Anyone? No? Okay. I have the Memory Alpha page open with a list of Ferengi names on it. Are you sure they're all on there? They're supposed to be. Anybody that was seen on screen. And if they don't have a picture beside their name, they were just mentioned and they weren't actually on screen. So, yeah. Pretty good list of Ferengi. And I'd like to think that they're all there. I'm not 100% sure, though, because I was pretty sure when I was going through the Klingons, I totally missed Krug, which should have been in my list for sure. But anyway, so hopefully Memory Alpha has their shit together and has everything on there. That would be my hope. And I don't know why Samuel's taken so long. I am just going to sit here and hum along, hum a little song. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. We got a few super chats in. That's great. Can't wait to read them. Samuel, please come back. Let's all stare at Samuel until he decides to come back, okay? Are you ready? I'm not, because I'm looking at something else right now. Hold on. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
You know that thing I have on Thursday? It's tomorrow.
Oh.
So, awesome. So I'm not going to have any more caffeine, because I've got to be asleep in like 3 hours. So, cool, great. Glad he messaged tonight, though.
Well, I don't know if there's going to be a long one, honestly, because I don't know what to say about a lot of these Ferengi.
Well, that's okay with me, then.
Well, we've got some super chats. Let's read those first.
Great.
Olivia Julie puts in $2. That's right, Samuel. Kiss my staff. That sounds very wrong. Eugene, 500 rubles. Lek is Ferengi Eliminator. I hope you'll mention most of the Ferengi from DS9. Magnificent Ferengi. Probably not. Fleet Paw Swiftback, $5. You're running out of things to say, so just say this. Brunt, FCA, and use every dramatic pause needed. Okay. Captain Chili Bina, $10. Very excited for this live since you don't seem to be starting DS9 reviews anytime soon. At least we can discuss some of my favorite DS9 characters. I would love to see Grand Nagus, Rom, and Picard. Don't worry, we'll get the DS9 reviews soon-ish. Not sure when, but they will be coming. Don't worry. So, yes, Grand Negus Rom in Picard.
I mean, everyone in Picard is the moral of the story. Just
Well, the problem is if we see him, he's going to die. So
yes, his eye won't be ripped out, but other parts of him will be ripped out. His lobes, goodness, yeah.
yes.
Okay, right. Sorry, now I'm a little bit flustered, but hey ho. Gotta keep
Don't call me
working.
up. Oh.
So your number 10 is?
Oh, I don't know. Hold on, I gotta pull my list up. I didn't know I had my list.
Oh, well,
All right,
no,
my number
before-
10.
Yeah, I'll know.
My number 10 is Zek, Grand
Ah.
Negus. Love this guy. Love the actor. I mean, he's in Princess Bride. Inconceivable.
Mm.
And you just recognize the voice and that laugh.
Classic character actor.
Absolutely. And he made a fantastic Negus throughout the course of Deep Space Nine. Plus, the older makeup really worked. The sagging lobes, the like hair in the ears, all that kind of thing was really great. So, yeah, he's my number 10. Which is starting off with somebody that's very recognizable, obviously. I don't know. My list I did try to order it, but I'm not sure. Like the top 3 are for sure fine. The other ones, I don't know. We learned a lot about the Negus. He should probably be higher on the list because he's one of the ones that we know the most. But he's so typical Ferengi until the end when he's not. So I just thought that it was a great character. And yeah, the little Ferengi, headed staff and stuff was awesome. So yeah, so that's my number 10.
But only 10, though.
Yes. Olivia Julius, $5. Now selling Samuel's hair puff for 20 gold pressed platinum. No, you cannot sell that.
All my
That's
hair
not
stays. It's very important.
Yes. All right, so Samuel,
Yes.
who's your number 10?
Mine number 10, and as I said, this is a list. It is in the order that I think, but it's one of those things where there's probably one-off guys, and I'm just like, he was really cool. So I kind of went for, these are the guys that are memorable to me.
Yes.
That when I was sort of put on the spot by, even though it was my idea, / the guy that suggested this idea, that I then would give you the idea, and it's like, yeah, but these ones that stand out to me. So for all the wrong reasons, number 10 is Letic. Is Proto-Quark. Now, obviously, crap Ferengi / crap episode, not exactly, but in the simple tense. But he stands out still as being interesting in his own way. And obviously, it's Proto-Quark. And I think if you're talking about memorable Ferengi, the first is going to be memorable. Like I said, for all the wrong reasons. But he does have a unique energy, and if this is where the Ferengi came from, before they started dealing with Federation, before starting with traders, it's like there were these, quite mean and dickish and petty aliens that just wanted to do bad things for bad reasons. This is kind of like the underclass of Ferengi. You can imagine these were, criminals and wanted, and so it gets my worst 10, but I think it's so memorable that you kind of gotta, I think have on the list.
That's a good one. I considered adding him to the list for the same reasons, like first Ferengi kind of thing. But then I thought, I found a few other names that I thought, like as you said, the ones that are memorable to you for whatever reason.
Yes. That's the key.
Some of them have specific reasons why they're memorable above others. So, he didn't make my list, so good call on that one. But yeah, the original idea for the Ferengi to be the new big baddies, with the, they're going to eat the Federation members or whatever, and the craziness. Plus, the energy whip was always cool.
Well, they put budget into the look. I mean, that's a pretty elaborate makeup, and considering how well it blends. And the fact that Armin can play like 4 Ferengi in the course of 9 years, and that is not like Quark. Very different.
Yeah.
I mean, he's thinner and younger. That does help. He was the youngest and thinnest that he ever was. But this is quite a lot of effort. I mean, the costumes are nice, and it's also a unique version, pretty much. Like, they are the same for season 1, a little bit season 2, but once they jump ship into the newer design. So like I said, my number 10 for all the wrong reasons.
Okay, that's fair enough. I just need to reset this page back. Because, this is going to be a tough one, guys. I don't have super much to say about each one, but Fleet Pass Swiftback, $5. Remember, UMOCs are acceptable forms of payment in Ferengi society.
Oh, goodness.
You will accept them today. Yes, absolutely. Please. Come UMOCs me.
I mean, if you can do them properly, I'm sure there's something to be said. You know?
Olivia Julius, $5. Remember, the Ferengi is one of the only few species that overtook the Enterprise for an episode.
Mm-hmm. I think it was very mitigating circumstances, though. It wasn't through talent or skill. It was a combination of everything. But okay, great. We've already got one inconsistency. Love it. Who's your number 9 then?
Number 9 is Ulyss.
Ethan Phillips, number 9. Or number 7.
Neelix as a Ferengi. This was before they were supposed to know about Ferengis. They showed up on Enterprise. They even mentioned Ferengi. I guess they're not before they knew about them necessarily. Well, before they were a big threat, I guess.
Well, he says because they're speaking their own language. They say the word Ferengi while speaking their own language, but since it's one word of many, there's no context, so they don't pick it up. That's one of the important contexts. Like only when they swap to the English, and then they never mention Ferengi. So, and they do wipe records on the ship and stuff. So, do a good job in eradicating the record of it beyond visual, like beyond sketch artistness.
Okay. I don't know if I buy that, but okay. Yeah, he was the one that he was the captain, the daemon of the pirate ship that overtook Enterprise, and there was some fun shenanigans to be had there. Plus, seeing Neelix playing another, that's always great to see. So yeah, he's memorable for that reason, just because it is Neelix, and because he kind of got duped, and it's a good episode for that. So yeah, I like this one.
And this is a fun episode, obviously, because they brought back all of the longest-running Ferengi actors all into one episode, so it makes it special. And they play obviously very different, and you get a run on the ship like they never had before. Although it is like his 4th Ferengi, fifth or sixth if you include Neelix being a Ferengi, because Neelix is a Ferengi once as well. So Ethan's actually been a lot of Ferengis.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
But it's fun to see like the latest makeup on the earliest Ferengi. Like, how do you do that? And I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was more successful in some ways than the Borg one, which is a bit more one note because they're OP. At least this one kind of embraces the idea of it more, you know? And the idea of the safe and whatever. I like it. And like Archer's the janitor or whatever. It's
the secret safe entrance was fun.
Yeah, it's actually a really well thought out episode considering the limitations they had. It's just cheeky as all hell. The thing is, it is daft to think that no one in Starfleet met a Ferengi, even though they're active in the Alpha Quadrant, for like 130 years. Really? Really? You know? Not this makes it any better necessarily.
My thinking is they just didn't get the overpoweredness that they got to TNG. Like they hadn't made a deal with the Breen yet for their warp and all that.
Oh yes, that chestnut.
To make them more of a superpower. That's kind of the vibe that I get. But.
Yeah, well, yeah. Proto for a reason. And I was considering these guys, but I haven't seen the episode in so long. All I remember is I like the episode. I couldn't justifiably have them on my list. But my number 9 is Damon Togg, who is the captain of Neelix's first appearance. Ethan Phillips as a Ferengi, because he's the mischief, he's the hating Riker and Troy second in command. So this is the first Ferengi who's actually a Ferengi in TNG, I believe.
Menage Troy,
which is a weird episode anyway, so it captivates a whole weird vibe. But he's a first use of the new costume, great looking costume. He comes in as a part of the establishment, like he's there to barter, so he's more legitimate than the other Ferengi of the past. He's got a more old, creepy look, but he doesn't necessarily portray that fully. And to have sort of an older Ferengi who's more happy just to kind of live his life. Yes, profit, but he's less young, whippersnappery. Falls for a lady, kidnaps her, classic stuff. But it's interesting as you do. But the way he plays, I mean, obviously this is when they're starting to change them from being like, let's not make him the laughing stock sinister guy, and so it's like, let's play it very straight while having the makeup still. And so it's an interesting example of kind of what a non-ambitious, in the same way a Quark would be or a Brunt would be. Like, how is that Ferengi, a much more middle of the road Ferengi who's still a captain? So he stands up to me as kind of like that new delve into the new pond of style.
more of a measured Ferengi.
Yeah.
Like it's not one extreme or the other kind of
Yes.
thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we did just watch the episode, and I think he does stand out in the episode as being just different. Now having
Yeah.
just rewatched it for the show.
He almost made my list too.
Hmm.
Didn't quite get there. Captain Chili Bean at
Chili Bean.
$5. My blessing that the great material continuum will reward Trekyards with profit tonight, and many likes. Yes, hit likes. We did hit our 60 likes that I asked for earlier. Let's get another 10. Let's get to 70. And yes, hopefully you guys have some favorite Ferengis and you agree with some of our suggestions.
And we are a third of the way to our super chat goal, so that's good already.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. Put your thoughts and comments, as I think we've already moved quite around the continuum of Ferengi, although obviously we're going to get more zoned in. So let's see if any of our sort of bottom 5 are the same.
Well, interesting.
So
I guess it's time for my number 8.
Your number 8.
My number 8 is Rega, the scientist.
Yes.
With the metaphasic shielding, which was great. It was great to see a Ferengi that was more science-based. Again, not all Klingons are warriors. You have lawyers and,
Well, they've one lawyer.
Farmers. Well, yeah.
He's definitely lawyer in the Empire.
But to see a scientist, a Ferengi scientist, was kind of neat. Doing what scientists do. Seemed a likable guy. Was enjoying the work and just didn't have that typical Ferengi, greed to him. And I think that was quite refreshing, actually. I know he didn't play a huge part of the episode, but I definitely remember he smiled a lot, and that's something that I kind of liked because you don't really think about that when you think of the Ferengi, and the fact that he did step out of the mold a little bit and just get to see a scientific Ferengi was kind of fun. So that's pretty much all I have to say about him. But yeah, so he's my number 8. Plus a really cool name, Rega, Dr. Rega, was really cool. So yeah. But yeah.
And that one I remember more for, obviously it's the big mystery of who killed him. I can't say I remember his performance at all, but he, like I say, it was such a small part of the episode. It was more about the other dudes, the guy with a really like multicolored face, who's the dude at the end, and then Crusher herself, and then the Klingon. I remember those way more.
And Sean O'Neill says he was greedy for knowledge. Yes,
Ooh.
As scientists are.
Although to be fair, knowledge is sellable, so you can easily slant that.
That's true.
But maybe he's got a personal phone connection with Zek and can be like, I design new platinum scanning devices. Yes, give me it. Whatever. But just looking at the context, I'm pretty sure that head's a generic head. Like that looks like an average Ferengi. But I was wondering if they're gonna make him look more muted to be scientist. I mean, his costume is certainly more muted and reasonably nice. But the nose is as big as ever. But okay, cool. And is this because you've watched TNG more that you stood out more? Or is it just because the idea of the scientist was more than the performance itself?
Yeah, I like the idea of not everybody's the same. They're all not greedy. Profit. I mean, they are, but it wasn't presented that way, which is nice. It was kind of refreshing. And yeah, I love TNG. So
yes, nice. My number 8 is Quimp from Lower Decks. Because I was like, oh wait, just because he's a cartoon, that doesn't mean jack. I could include him. Now, even less screen time probably than your TNG man, but that's not the point, because he's a funny one. He's both the epitome of a TNG season 1 Ferengi and the epitome of a Nog Ferengi. So he's kind of both at the same time in different scenes, and not what you expect. I remember obviously in the episode we were quite thrilled because it shows they're using canon for the best. And certainly one of the standout quick performances that deserves a season 2 comeback. And because a Ferengi, you can kind of expect a lot of potential story things to happen with them. What they have access to, what they can barter for, who they know. No reason why they wouldn't come back and then be able to show another fun side of it.
Yeah. The whole thing with him being like the typical greedy, first season Ferengi, and then later being like a doctor with like a monocle, very well spoken, and like that was just awesome.
A joke on both sides of the aisle, but worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe he'll come back in a future season. That'd be great. I did enjoy the character though, and just the references to the original Ferengi style.
It's just because it's not just a parody, and that parodies are making fun of. There's full internal context to it, and it's like the pack goods, right? It is a joke, but it's also consistent with the universe, and that's where the cleverness comes in. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely great seeing that in our decks.
What a name, Quimp.
Quimp.
So you're number 7.
We're going through these pretty quick. There's not much to say about these guys.
Yep.
My number 7 is Krem. He is also from the Enterprise episode. He's
Jeffrey Combs again, isn't it?
Yeah, one of the many Jeffrey Combs appearances. Again, seeing Jeffrey Combs is just awesome in general. The guy's a fantastic actor. And so that's one of the reasons this one is memorable for me. I do enjoy him in the episode. And he does make a very good Ferengi. Besides Brunt. You hear Brunt for sure when he talks, but that's okay. That's okay. I don't know, just that episode is just such a fun episode because, you know, they think they're smart, but they're not. They get duped pretty easily, so.
But what a nice thing to be able to bring back all your old best Ferengi actors into one big posse. And yet, same damn faces, because he doesn't look like Brunt. Successfully done to not like Brunt. And wasn't he like the dumb guy or the coward in the episode? I feel like he had a specific role that was like.
Yeah, he was the dumb one.
Yeah.
It says in the final draft of the script, he was described as a bit of a dimwit. So, you know, compared to like Wei-Yun or Shran, you're like, God damn, this guy has the range, man.
Because I remember that being a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Fleet Paw Swiftback, $2. It's Brunt's destitute and lobeless ancestor. Yeah, probably. They definitely make them related. That'd be cool.
Yeah, nice. My number 7, Arendor. These names are not names I know.
Arendor,
son of Aragorn. No, this is one that definitely stood out to me because it's the Voyager one.
Oh yeah.
There's 2 Voyager ones. One I obviously read up on this earlier today. One of which, so he was the guy from TNG 7 or so years earlier. The other guy was a recast because wasn't available. And he was not even a real like actor. He was just like in there. This was the main one. But and I remember watching this for the first time vaguely. I think obviously it wasn't at the time, but it was like I was like, Ferengi, and it's kind of like Relics where they fully committed. And they like gave them a lot of chunk, and it definitely deepens the TNG one, which we just watched not recently, but we just like and they have fun with it, and they put money into it, they put effort into it. You don't often see like a city square in Voyager, so they were like, we're gonna do for this, and I watched a little clip of it, and you know, Ethan gets to be another Ferengi, pretend to be the Nagus, etc., which is great. He does a very good job. So it's just good because he wasn't a high-ranking Ferengi in his own world. His world shifted. He did what lots of Ferengis, I'm sure, do, which is manipulate a younger species. But it's only him and his friend a million miles away. But it's kind of fun to see. Yeah.
He was the mean one out of the two
Yes.
of them. The other guy was kind of the goofy, funny one. And it's funny, they were both on my list, but they both fell down pretty quick into the honorable mention slot, which I forgot to send honorable mention pictures. But that's okay. So they were both on there, but they did get bumped out by other people. So, definitely memorable for that being a crossover between TNG and Voyager. So,
and it's just such a clever idea. It's like they let themselves in without meaning to that crossover years before. They're in the Delta Quadrant. Okay, great, we'll go find them. That's brilliant, perfect. And he's good in the episode. He stands out. They give him a lot to do. He stands out well. He's like, what does a Ferengi look like when they've actually got everything?
Yes.
And you never get that because they never have everything because he sort of, whatever, very quickly.
Well, their throne room with all the hot babes they got hanging around. I mean, yeah, that's cool to see.
Yeah, it's a classic having fun with it. And given we had we're having, I guess, DS9 to kind of go back to more 101 Ferengi was fun. I always like this one, but it is Voyager. I mean, the fact that he's like the only Ferengi in the show means he stands out more. There's only like 2 Ferengi episodes, so it's like, eats one of the two. Yeah.
Yeah. Good choice.
Thank
Good
you.
choice. Like I said, honorable mention for me.
But you're number 6.
My number 6 is Sovak from
Ah,
Captain's Holiday.
glad you've got him on here.
Yeah, Max. Yeah, Rom before Rom.
Proto Rom.
This was like between the first introduction of the Ferengi and like, well,
The one I
I
said.
guess, yeah. This was after Menage a Trois.
Oh,
we'd already
maybe
seen, like-
just, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, typical cunning little Ferengi, and just a pain in the ass. Plus, the seeing him before he was Rom. I mean, he's got a very memorable acting style and voice. Like he's when I think Ferengi, Rom automatically pops into my head, more so than Quark, most of the time. So anyway, yeah, just the good character and a fun episode, and to see somebody that's not a daemon. Well, he is. He's got the tattoo, but
Do they say he's a
on
daemon in the
vacation.
episode?
What's that?
Does he say he's a daemon in the episode? I didn't
I
think
think he was an ex daemon. I don't know. That's a good question. He does have the daemon tattoo though on his forehead. All the daemons have that little thing. So, but yeah, typical Ferengi searching for a treasure. So that's awesome.
And he was definitely a potential, but I was like, he's exactly what you expect a Ferengi to be.
Exactly.
Which is good, but he didn't add too much extra because he was like, but he's the Ferengi menace without the Ferengi goof until like the end. So he's that we're gonna pull back into it, but it's remarkable how all of the Quark actors' makeups, they don't look like Quark. He looks like Rom pretty much.
Yeah.
Like really close. Like they didn't.
His
couldn't
teeth
change
aren't
his
as
face
bad
much.
as Rom's.
Yeah.
Rom's teeth are a little bit more jagged. And,
Yeah. But they may have, maybe use the same thing. But he always feels more like a meaner Rom. And it was kind of an interesting origin story. He was a crook, and then his brother, pushed him down, and then he became an engineer. But no, it's good, and he's definitely stands out in the episode. And comparing, all the furs and stuff of earlier seasons to a Hawaiian shirt. Pretty good. No, he's good. I'm glad he's on your list.
Yeah. So what do we have to? You're number 6 now?
Yes, my number 6 is Moogie.
Oh, she was Ishka. She was almost on my list.
Well, the problem is I feel like I had to put her on the list because it's such an iconic character, but I don't remember the episodes much that she's in. So I was kind of like, I kind of have to, but just because it's like Whoopi Goldberg as Guinan. If you put her as one of the best guest stars, it's just because of the legacy of Guinan rather than how many she's in.
Yeah.
Sort of vibe. Like, she's great, but try and name her great appearances. Well, there's this, and then other times, I don't know. I have to think about it. And so I feel like she was good, and certainly visually very memorable. Old but not too old, and all the stuff. And certainly, to give this much political intrigue to, women's rights on Ferenginar, it's quite a big old topic, and then, brought it back again and again.
And Andrea Martin, who plays her, does a fantastic job. So.
Well, any actor could play it, but only that woman could live it. And that's the same with the main 4 Ferengi we're going to say. They all inhabited it in a way that you couldn't really have expected going in. Especially as a couple of them have already played Ferengi, they didn't give it the same vibe. But like I said, there's no particular memory of her that stands out. I just remember you really liked her as a person. And she did die before the end of the show, didn't she? Wasn't there an episode where she died? I feel like there was.
I don't think so.
Guys, tell us. I thought.
2 women played Ishka. Did they? I don't think so.
I don't
think so.
Right. I mean, maybe it's like on the screen or on a pad, or sometimes you have like a season earlier, you have like a picture of them.
Yeah. She faked her death, I think, says Hezraz. Yeah. No, she almost died. Yes. Okay. She retired with Zek. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, cool.
Oh, yeah, there is a different actress in the first. Oh, that's weird. Cecile Adams, who played, who I don't recognise the face, doesn't even look like Ishtar. I'm quite surprised. Which would that?
Fleetpaw says Moogie never died. 2 women played her because one of the actresses died, I believe. Oh, no.
Well, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Olivia Julius, $5. Yesterday was International Women's Day, so you picked the most sexiest species to rate. LOL.
Okay.
To rate.
So according to the Memory Alpha, she was obviously heavily made up to be older, but she was actually only a few years older than her son in the show, Armin Shimon. But according to the Quark actor, she declined to return in later episodes due to the uncomfortable prosthetics. And as of season, which obviously explains why the arc got less and less focused on, because she made
I know Andrew Martin's still alive, so I just thought the first actress might have died, but if she just didn't want to come back because of the prosthetics. That makes sense.
That does not I'm gonna have to. Wow.
I think you might be thinking she's dead because she either almost died or faked her death, something like that.
Okay, so she's in basically the latest ones, the last 5, and the other actress is in the. Why is that not telling me when? Which ones? Well, more. Huh. Interesting. So the second one was in 5, and she was in. Going to IMDb now. Zoom me down. I can't find it because I went down to the 80s. Well, Conda's 1, but that doesn't sound right. Okay, well, you tell us, guys. I'll try to do research here, but it's failing miserably. So, yes, the one that we all know and like.
Yes.
That gets my my vote.
Very good, very good.
Okay.
Again, she was on my list, but she quickly slipped into an honorable mention slot. So.
Okay.
My number 5 is Quimp. Yeah, from Lower Decks. Again, same reasons we've already talked about. It's great to see first season Ferengi brought back. that's style. And then the jokes even made like that you're prejudiced because you think all Ferengi are like that kind of thing. And then it turns out to be a doctor who's quite well spoken and a friend of Mariner's, just doing her a favor. That was great. And plus, the fact that he showed up in Lower Decks was awesome. So I almost got the same picture that you had. Almost. It's like a second or two later, I think.
Yes.
The one you had.
Yes. No, and like I said, he's a joke, but also not entirely, which is clever.
Yeah. Sebastian, aka Space Daddy, throws in €2.
Thank you.
Another top 10 Star Trek alien harem. Well, who's got the harems? We could do like top 10 Dabo girls.
Could we? Are there 10?
No, we couldn't.
Well, I felt we should definitely do at some point top 10 space battles. I think we did that for the other lives, but it seems we have to do 10 now.
Oh, good God. Yeah.
Don't you dare say Balance of Terror.
That was the most epic thing ever, man.
Yes.
Olivia Julius, $5. 6 pieces of gold pressed latnium gets you food to donate to the captain's lower life form pet. Yeah, their interaction with Porthos in the Enterprise episode was kind of funny. What is this thing?
It's just that episode was just a cheeky thing, but it was clever because it had to be clever.
Yeah.
Yeah. My number 4. 4?
No, 5.
My number 5 is Brunt.
FCA.
And again, I know he's great, but I can't remember much about his episodes, which is weird. But I know he's, extremely different to Woyoon, which is why the acting of the guy is always very impressive. And obviously closer to Andorian guy, but in a very different way. Both more the aggressive type, but very, very different. But the fact they liked Brunt enough to keep bringing him back, and more times than he had to be, which was fun. I know he had a journey. He went, he was demoted, and then there was stories there. I remember every time he came on board, it was like, ah, they got him. But the thing is, DS9, it's a lot of just the same story for a long time. So when was he?
Yeah.
What episode was he in? As 5, I don't know. I can't really pitch them because they're not distinct enough. Like obviously, Ferengi and his first one where he tries to shut down the bar, but like DS9 is not that memorable if you break down some of the episodes. As much.
There was also a Mirror Universe version of him.
Oh, he was great. Yeah, he was the nice one. He was all nice and lovely, and he was Judzy. He was Ezuri's friend zone. Because Ezuri was a lesbian, but he still thought he had a chance. I think is how it went.
Yeah.
So he pined after her, and then he gets shot. I think it's great.
Well, my number 4 is Brunt.
Oh,
so it leads naturally into the conversation. Yeah, why?
Their heads are different. That's interesting.
Again, Jeffrey Combs is fantastic and very memorable. And we actually use the Brunt FCA thing a lot in Trekyards with the in the group to close down comment sections after it's kind of run its course. We have a little meme with Brunt FCA. Comments have been revoked. So it's kind of an ongoing joke with the moderators there. So Jeffrey Combs is just awesome.
And remind me, was the first time Piers is trying to track down the bar? Is it his ulterior motive? Was that the one? Was he working for the cousin, or was
Galen?
Because I felt like that was the twist. It was there's some other thing here, and then he gets to blackmail Brunt because it's all about blackmail, whatever, and then he has to leave.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
that's the problem. You know.
Well, do you have a similar thing about remembering their distinct appearances? They're not that distinct.
Exactly, but I just remember. Great character from DS9. If you had to mention some one-off characters, well, not one-off like he could return, but him and Garrick are definitely there.
And it's great because there's so many. There is one of most of the major races that you can kind of say as a memorable, occasional recurring, but you can always speak to how often they would come back as to how popular they were. Helped he was a regular guest as another character, so obviously he was always on their minds. You know. Therefore easy to hire something else. But I get the feeling this is the sort of guy and character where since he put the makeup on, he would just stay in this alter ego. Like like he feels it because he's not himself. That's the kind of he lets himself go in the role. Is the kind of vibe you get from him, I think.
Absolutely. Olivia Julius, $2. Fleet Paw FCA. Fleet Paw Swiftback, $2. Brunt FCA. In my ass off. And James McGill, $2. Okay, everybody, caress your ears like a Ferengi. Is this appropriate to do in front of a live audience? Is this like masturbation? I don't even know.
Well, you did get paid for it, and that's what Umarks tend to be, at least in Cork and whatever as well. I mean, he does pay his Dabo girls, so when they give it to him, they give it. Nice. So he's number 4, but he didn't make your top 3 though. So he's your best he's your favorite non-main Ferengi, basically.
Yes.
And Quimp beat all other Ferengi. Wow. Because if you think about that, Brent makes sense. He was in so many, or Brunt. So the low dex guy was your favorite non-main Ferengi ever. Wow.
Well, when you put it like that, it sounds like I should rethink the decision. But
no, I'm just.
It's from memorable appearances and just really like that's awesome.
Because obviously they're going to be quite similar from now on, I'm sure. So I'm just saying that's interesting that Brunt makes sense, but to have the Elodix guy right there is interesting.
Yeah.
And obviously
I think they're going to be very similar.
Obviously you had Krem, who's also Combs, so you had 2 Combs in the same only 2 away.
Did have a comb over?
Yes.
Great.
But my number 4, and my surprise that you put him lower, is the Grand Nagus himself. I would have thought he was so iconic, because you can jump in there.
He was, but again,
number 10, man, 10 for you.
It seems almost too obvious to put him in the top couple. Like I just didn't want to do that. And yes, he was memorable. Yes, he was awesome. But honestly, like gets a little annoying after a while. So it's points off for being annoying sometimes. But other than that, I mean, yes, we did get to know him quite well, and his character did change over the course. Like he had a good character arc, but I don't know. I just wanted that to be the lead into the Ferengi, the whole Grand Nagus thing, because
It was I went for the start of the Ferengi of my TNG reference. See, for me, he's interesting because just like with all my other list, he represents a completely different subset. The boss. What happens when you're the boss of these criminal people and these dodgy people? Well, you're a bit eccentric. You clearly don't have the iron fist. You have other people do it for you, and you've managed to become removed enough from all of it, just kind of enjoy life a bit. But you're also old as F. I read Memory Alpha, and he was apparently on the throne for the role for a long time. So just as another totally different subset, he's almost like so rich that he's bored. He's never quite that, but how do you run the government of sort of criminally-ish based traders and pirates and collectors, and yet it's still run by government? It's like, what? So it's just a very, very different Ferengi,
Yeah.
And also we got him back often, actually.
True. Eugene, 250 rubles.
Hey.
I don't care about latnium. I've never seen a sloppiest, more amateurish top 10 in my life. If you ever do something like this again, count me in. What is that quote from?
That's I know that. Remind us with those. I know one of the Ferengi said, obviously, that's the context. Tell us that again. Remind us, because that's definitely a good...
I thought you were consulting us and you're going to leave there. It's like, what?
No. Oh, Eugene will never leave us. He's one of us. One of us.
One of us. Feet Paw Swiftback, $2. When Zek grabbed Kira's bum for fertilizer, laughing my ass off. For fertilizer? What? Ew. It's the Eliminator. All right, so, yeah. Time for my number 3, I guess, eh?
I think that is how math and numbers work, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm never been good at math, so. My number 3, my bronze position.
You got on the podium.
Bronze place.
You got that.
Yeah. Rom.
Oh.
Rom was a great character with a fantastic character arc over the course of his tenure on Deep Space Nine. From the bumbling idiot that couldn't do anything right to being handy with tools and equipment and technology, to becoming quite competent and becoming one of O'Brien's right-hand guys, helping with the station, to marrying Lita. My God, he scored big with that. He had quite the arc. You get to see him as a dad, and it really fleshed out the Ferengi quite a bit. Plays the stupid brother for a long time, and I don't think he was ever as stupid as he let on. It was interesting to see that growth, and the fact he wanted the bar from Quark, but then when he thought Quark was dead and he got the bar, he was still upset. And I don't know, it was great. It was great to see some humanity put into a Ferengi, and a fantastic arc from beginning to end for this character. So definitely somebody that I think, again, steps out of the mold a little bit of what the Ferengi should be. At first, he seems like the typical Ferengi, but it's soon revealed that either he never was like that the whole time, or he changed. And Lita, Chase Masterson, lucky guy. So, yeah, Rom is my number 3.
Now, the Ferengi as an entire concept is one that was changed as they went. So Rom is not a character that is written consistently, because they did change who he was, but it has a unique flair that the actor, didn't change his acting style. That's interesting. He was a bumbling, fun fool from bartender to engineer. It's just they wove this weird story, and there's a bit of connectivity that doesn't quite connect. But once you're like, oh yeah, he just never cultivated those skills, and once he kind of zoned in on them, he was bumbling genius. Which it's because he's so impeccable. But I mean, things you want to. Oh yeah, sure.
I was gonna say he wasn't really given the tools or the acknowledgement at first, so he was using spatulas and shit to
Yeah.
fix the holosuites.
Mhm.
Whereas later, once that kind of talent was seen,
Mhm.
he was given the tools and the equipment that were required, and yeah, he could really.
I mean, no way that was the writer's plan. Like, no way of any kind. So it's a very
No.
complete odd thing. I mean, you think about, he was probably one of the guys that they didn't know. They did not know. I mean, TNG was main cast, and then eventually a couple of sides maybe. They didn't know what they were going to do with DS9 until they did do DS9, and so he's Quark's brother, and son
Yeah.
and dad of dad of Nog. Didn't know where they're going to go with him. It's just, let's have this little unit of Ferengi.
Yes.
But they were like, he's so damn fucking good. Let's give him something really interesting. I like though saying that he only fixed stuff with spatulas. And you got to think, like, before DS9, they was under Cardassian occupation. I don't think they would, it's keep your head down. Imagine getting noticed by them as a good engineer. Do you really want to work for Cardassian intelligence as a good engineer on your station? So it retcons okay. It's kind of like the Klingon augment virus. It's like, I see what you did there, but you kind of sutured it with staples rather than nicely let it heal,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
That's
got to be
okay.
said, Max is a great guy as well. Like, we came and chatted to us at Vegas when he was on his way out. Remember, we were eating. He didn't recognize us. He thinks. I think he thought he should have recognized us, and so he was chatting with us. But anyway, great guy.
Yeah, and he's great. He can just turn the voice on because he doesn't speak like that normally. I mean, you can obviously hear the in a little bit of it, but
Yeah.
and I've seen him in costume after the fact multiple times, and a bit of costume, bit of teeth, he can instantly pull back into it, and then to see him go off script, because they would do improv when they do that, with their fellow cast, or at least they used to, it's pretty he's pretty good, and definitely became the head of the government. So if he's not in Picard or lower decks at least, I mean, he can do the voice easily, so no, but do it easy. Go on.
Yeah, talk about character arc from bumbling idiot brother to head of the Ferengi.
Yeah.
Ferenginar. So yeah.
But also changing the government. Like, he's not a Ferengi really. He's like he's a feminist in the he actually is a feminist, but he's been radicalized by the Federation and by the Bajorans, and so he's going to bring these things in and modernize the Ferengi out of their hundreds of years of yeah.
So what was your number 3? I'm interested to see your bronze place. Sounds dirty.
Yes, my third is also wrong apparently. There you go. There you go. I mean, he's great. Obviously, the top 3 get the top 3 because they get the most time and effort. But out of the top 3, he's both the he's the least Ferengi out of the 3 of them. Because he's not in it for profit ever. He's not good at profit ever. He respects women, and he wants to be fair and good governing. He's also talented, not in espionage stuff. So he's the least Ferengi, he's given the most character, the most arc. So hence why he's the third out of those 3. But he's interesting in that way.
Is it fair to say that the top 3 are in the thumbnail?
Oh, well, yeah. Well, they got a surname, so family DS9 Ferengi. I mean, it'd be kind of sick if we didn't give the guys who got the most screen time the top 3. It's like saying, oh, Worf isn't the best Klingon, Chang is. And it's like, oh, he had 22 minutes of screen time. And for 2 minutes they was doing, just spinning his damn chair.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
It's time for my number 2.
Bronze.
Silver.
Silver.
Medal.
That was the metal.
That's right. For my silver medal, I'm going to give it to Quark.
Boo.
Which, why isn't he number 1?
Well, could be controversial, Stuart. What do you guys think? Is this a controversial moment for Trekyards history?
Quark is the definitive default Ferengi. You see all sides of Quark. You get to know him. You get to love him. To know him is to love him, after all. You get to see the greed. You get to see the compassion. You get to see the humanity in him. And it's actually really great. Quark is a fantastic character that is so brilliantly played. Like the actor they got for him is just fantastic. And yeah, he was like the first Klingon or first Klingon, first Ferengi. So it was a very nice kind of tribute in a way to have him flesh that out even more. Yeah. I don't know what can you say about Quark. He's devious, but not to the point where he's like, he has feelings, he has emotions, he has morals, but he wants to make that profit. He's that perfect example of a Ferengi as far as, well, not really. He won't do anything to get profit. He won't screw his friends or anything really, but he will. I don't know. It's a tough call for that one. He does what's necessary, but at the same time,
yeah,
realizes that the Federation is like root beer. It's insidious.
And talk about screen time in DS9. He probably had one of the highest screen times.
Oh, I would think so.
Because he not just had his own arc, he had arcs with all of the family members. He had arcs with every one of the other crew members.
And Marauder Mo.
Huh?
His Marauder Mo action figures. I was going to put them on this list. Remember the Marauder Mo? His little Ferengi action figures.
Vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Anyway,
I think only really ones he didn't deal with as much were Worf. Some with everybody, but I think Worf was one of the least he interacted with. Quite a lot with Jadzia. Quite a lot with Cisco, obviously. Kira a lot. Odo a lot, obviously. Not so much with Bashir. Some with Bashir. Probably about the same as Bashir and Worf.
Well, him and Odo, they were the McCoy and Spock of this series. Like with their relationship. The love-hate relationship that they formed.
Hate, dislike. There's and not even respect necessarily. Yeah, it was multifaceted.
Yes.
They were like two roommates two people that lived across the hall that had to live across the hall for 7 years. They had to be there. They weren't allowed to get evicted, but they both had opposite lifestyles and choices. And one did drugs and one was a cop. And it's like, Jesus Christ, this is my life, is it? I don't know. What do people think? Is it controversial?
I don't know. What's your number 2?
Yeah. My number 2 is going to be Nog. Yeah. Which I'm sure means that we have flipped our 1 and 2s once again.
Yes, I believe so.
But also we'll say these as if we're not, as if the other person isn't going to say anything, and then we'll.
And look at my picture, by the way. God damn.
Well, mine's much nicer, but.
Yes.
And that's funny because this is a random episode I found him in something else. It's not even like this is his main picture. I thought it was quite moody in this one. It wouldn't be his picture.
That happened before with
Martov.
The other top 10s.
Yeah, it's like this is not the picture that you'd pick. But that's okay. So for number 2, because like I've said with Rom, he's not a very good Ferengi, and that's the point. But he's not a very good Ferengi of the past, because he's just like Rom, he has the journey they never intended, with an arc they never intended, but they had such commitment to it once they worked out where they wanted to go. And the acting is very different from the start. He was much younger when he started the role and then became physically older by the end. So the maturity of the real person actually evolved the performance. I mean, he was the child at the start, and at the end he's, an ensign on the Defiant, the warship of the flagship of the fleet. It's quite an important thing, really. So he physically ages his performance. Same with Jake. So that was obviously going to lend extra credence to it. Rom stays the same as a person, just different life style. Noga changes as a person and an acting style. And they definitely want to give him stuff to do. But he's one of the best Ferengi characters. He just does not represent the Ferengi well. But that's the entire point. And that's why he's interesting. But on top Ferengi list, he couldn't be my top Ferengi list because he's not the best Ferengi. Because he's not really a Ferengi. It's like the best singer is actually a guitar player. It's like, well, yes, they're in a band, but they're not a singer. They might be in a band, they might have great music, but they're not actually a singer. Technicality. But number 2 because he's more interesting than Rom. We love the Starfleet stuff, and so seeing the uniform, that's more interesting to both of us. I know, so he's always going to beat Rom. And at a certain point, Rom was a reactionary character, whereas Nog is a proactive character. He's doing stuff in situations rather than responding to them.
Yeah.
Now you can counter that, Stuart, with your number 1. Flip this
my
table.
Number one, the reason he's my number 1 is because not all Ferengi are the Ferengi stereotypes, and this is the one we got to know, I think, the best out of all of them, as far as character arc goes, because he does start off as a snobby little kid who's just trying to get into trouble.
Steals. The first episode, he steals.
Doing scams, stealing stuff, absolutely. Getting Jake into trouble, and then realizes along the way that something's got to change. Joins Starfleet, the very first Ferengi to ever join Starfleet. Big move, very important. Nobody thinks he can do it, especially Cisco. And he really applies himself, makes it happen. Then he also he feels he continues to need to prove himself. Gets injured, has to deal with the injury and the psychological trauma, the PTSD from that, and he even gets a little bit of a extra boost as a character with the What We Left Behind documentary, where you get to see him as a captain. He's been in Star Trek Online as well, and it's such a journey from beginning to end that I love it. Yes, he's not a typical Ferengi. But he's an example of a new Ferengi, of what he kind of encapsulates what Star Trek is about.
I was gonna say that. Yep.
Being able to make change for the better, and be better as a person or as a species. So he kind of encapsulates all that within this one character. That's why he's my number 1.
Yes. Just like you've got the what's it called, the American dream. He's like this, the Starfleet, the Star Trek dream, which is he encapsulates that, the journey. I mean, you could sort of argue in a sense though, his dream is just to become one of the Starfleet military types, which is the dream that everyone else has. So you could argue that in that sense, but we know that's for the best.
But he's bucking his uncles, his dads, and his culture's ideals to do that. Like, he's changing who he is.
Well, it would have been nice though if he actually had more, because once he became an officer, he was the officer role. It would have been nice if he'd found a girlfriend, had some other stuff outside of that to kind of diversify even further, because otherwise he's just the officer, and if he's just going to be a career officer for the rest of his life, then he's not interesting in a sense anymore. It's like once you're the first officer in Starfleet, once you've then got 50 officers in Starfleet, which we see in lower decks and stuff. I think some Ferengi officers at one point. I think in Picard, maybe.
Future Imperfect. There's a Ferengi.
Fake Future, which is a fun moment. So it's the he's the poster child of what you can be, although once he gets there, he's very standard in a way.
I agree.
And I know it's false. I'm just saying it out loud. I'm just thinking about it for the first time.
And as you mentioned it, I'm like, it would be interesting if he did get a wife and settle down, had a family, and raised his kids differently, as opposed to being a typical Starfleet, officer that doesn't really have a personal life.
Yeah.
Because we've seen how he treats women on dates, based on the Ferengi culture, and we've seen that the double date thing, and it would be great to see advancement on that front as well, which I think would really help with the character for sure. And I'm sure something like that probably happened in one of the books, or I don't know, but I agree with you there. If he just stays the officer with no family, it does kind of make him a little bit more boring once he's hit that goal. But
then he's like everyone else, which is fine. We love everyone else. But that's the whole point. He's not very Ferengi-like. He's not there bartering. Unlike Worf, who is, he's on the bridge being aggressive. Norgate on the bridge of Defiance saying, "You know what? If we just tracked beam this bit of debris, we can make 500 gold plus latnium." Like, he isn't infusing the Ferenginess into the role. He does use his ears occasionally. There is a little bit of his physicality, but the tacticianness of the trade is rarely gone upon. So I think if he had met an officer on the Defiant, the place you'd least expect on the front line of war, that would have been kind of interesting. Like have a on and off girlfriend on the Defiant could have been really sweet. On just throwing, they already did too, in a sense of how many characters they probably did too much of them anyway. Like there only got so many characters, etc. But yeah, haven't talked about it now.
Yeah, I mean I think he did kind of use the Ferengi smarts every once in a while in negotiating with the Dominion and stuff. Like you did kind of see hints of that.
But certainly once you get to the war last 2 seasons, he's just shooty. Like they're not negotiating at any point in the 2 seasons really. It's because that middle bit where he's officer and cadet, like because cadet Rom is very like go getter. Once he's on the Defiant, he's just part of the shooty crew, which is the whole point. He's just one of the crew. No one's thinking anything of it, you know. He earned that place, but you know, one of many. What would he even do with the Defiant? What was his role? Was it just tactical 2 or something?
It was just tactical. I don't know. That's actually a good idea. A good point.
Well, I guess he's in gold. He's probably he's engineering, isn't he? I guess he's just engineering 2 on the bridge.
And let's not forget that Aaron was just an awesome person.
Bit wacky. He insulted me and threw me under the bus a couple of times.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? I'm the other half of Trekyards. Oh, okay. And he just turns away. It's like, oh, you know Samuel kind of thing.
Oh, you. Yeah, just a whole lot of things. Whole lot of things.
Why he's at my top? Because as much as he's not a typical Ferengi.
Yes.
There we go. As much as he's not a typical Ferengi, it's the ability to be able to change and still start out from there. You know, I don't know what I'm talking about. Most changed characters, he's number 1, I guess. This was the most changed characters list, right? Top 10.
Well,
top
I think
10 character arcs.
Well, then you got to have a Spock, haven't you? Because he died. Physically a different character. Yeah. But you get my points though, and I get your points. It's just that shift. But obviously, then let me jump back into why Quark. Then I went for my number 1, and no, different picture. Phew. Quark is my number 1 because he got the most time out of all the Ferengi, which means that he was the primary Ferengi, which obviously gives you a certain level of pedicure of time and spent. He's a Ferengi because he's a good Ferengi because he is the classic. But he's not corrupt in the same way. He's a guy that owns a very small bar on a nothing station during a war to Cardassians. He ain't successful. He's barely making it through. Then he chooses to stay when Starfleet is over, which is quite a ballsy move given Starfleet has not been good to the Ferengi over the last 7 years for TNG. You know, he knows he's probably going to, crack down on etc. And making profit is not good when you've got the law. It's like having the FBI as your neighbours. You probably ain't going to get away with shit. But he stays because he senses something and he's got the lobes for sort of low-end business. But because he's not actually that ambitious, he thinks he may be, but he actually isn't. He's able to lead a more balanced life, and I think that balanced life is interesting. He can have those great ideas, but he can also be content in just serving a drink to a guy. Like, that simple joy is enough for him. And so he wants that profit line, but he can also be a person around that. You know, he isn't a typical Ferengi, and yet he is. He's that lovely medium. He's a classic white collar business guy, and he's not got that same scummy element that is a stereotypical. So that's why I think he's the best, because he is the Ferengi, but also he's not the worst of Ferengi.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So he's not okay. So he's the ideal epitome of Ferengi values, without.
Well, as close to, yeah.
Yeah. While not being morally objectionable.
Yes, I mean, I think, and he does. He even says he doesn't do weapons. That's the whole thing. He doesn't smuggle weapons, even though it's profitable. He got him his cousin a moon.
He's immune to the moon.
Oh yeah,
moon.
he was.
I did it too.
But he still smuggles and stuff. But I mean, we all know there are some laws that are potentially silly, and the grey area of whatever you do. I mean, I find the idea of jaywalking in America ludicrous, and in some places it's a crime to walk across the street if it's safe. What a pathetic rule is that? No, you cross it, it's safe. End of story.
Funny. Yeah, jaywalking. If you impede the flow of traffic, it's jaywalking, and they have jaywalking as a thing just so they can arrest you, or at least pull you to the side and say what the hell, and get you on other charges. But yes,
Yeah, it's a non-rule.
that's
As I remember, you said that at Denver. It's like, oh, jaywalking. I'm like, oh, come on. Like, I walk in London traffic. It's like, if your brain says I can make it safely with an ample bit of margin, walk. It's fine. No one's in danger. It's fine. Jaywalking. Oh, and also he played a woman once. He had a real sex change once. Like, not a fake one, a real sex change once. And he was very good in that. He also married a Klingon and had a Klingon house once. He also, House of Quark. He also successfully negotiated with the Mirror Universe once. That's pretty cool. He also somehow allowed that Mirror Universe to forget they all had cloaking devices a year earlier to barter a new cloaking device. Amazing magic. He made them all forget. He also was the aliens in Roswell. That's quite impressive.
Yeah, that was a great episode.
Was a great episode. Hence the thumbnail.
Three of our top. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, they gave him so many iconic situations. And
I gotta agree. I think your number one choice is spot on for a lot of good reasons, but
yeah.
I'm still gonna put Nog in my spot. I'm not gonna switch anything around.
No, that's all good. That's all good. So there you go, guys. And certainly all of these Ferengi, you know, could, should, would come back. They have in different forms, but you know they all have fertile ground to come back.
Got 3 new super chats. James McGill, $5. The Ferengi was a race that was represented well as a race was represented well in DS9. Love the character building of Nog as well as his father and uncle. Stroking my lobes. Yes. Olivia Julius, $5. Sorry, I have to leave.
Oh.
Ramen noodles is great, but it's hell 10 minutes later when you gotta visit the ship's head. Wow. Yeah. Those ramen noodles. And Fleet Pass was back $2. This is named after the actor, the Eisenberg class. But yes, the USS Nog from Discovery. You had to ruin it by mentioning Discovery Season 3, didn't you? It was a good stream. Until then.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
But guys, now comes into the show. If we can get another $36, we would be happy bunnies. And what, 14 likes?
Yeah. 14 likes would be great. And let us spam the chat right now. Who is your number one?
Please.
Just give us your number one Ferengi. No explanation necessary. Just Nog, Quark, whoever comes to mind.
Yeah.
I'd like to see you guys think about our choices.
And thanks, Robert. Yeah, we're having fun with these top 10s. They can be harder than we think. Although, it's weird. When we do our top 5s, either ours are very similar or very different because of personal reasons, but 10 forces you to kind of push those boundaries a bit and say, oh god, because none of ours we had very few similar. I think we had 5 similar and 5 different. And that's pretty good, actually.
Yeah. And I didn't expect Quimp on your list, but
I didn't. Yeah, so I was convinced you were going to forget about him, and then I was like, aha, I had him. And I thought I think you thought the same thing. That's funny. Yeah.
One more. Well, at least one more like would be great. I would like to get 16 more likes, but I don't know. We'll see. Captain Chili Bina, $5. All the Ferengi DS9 episodes are excellent. Some of my favorites that I rewatch regularly, sometimes weekly. Holy shit, weekly.
Well, I think it's also because they're kind of lower decks episodes. They're in the universe, but not Starfleet, and so they can do side things. You know, they have to be different. And they often have really weird ideas. Like I said, sex change operation. That's not a normal Trek idea. Or marry a Klingon. Again, not something you normally do. And I'll be back in 1 minute. So guys, keep clicking like. I want to see those likes.
So we got Quark, Nog, Quark. Noggins, Quark. Begging for likes is like a bar of latnium. Okay, Quark, Nog. Quark without a doubt. Quark, Rom, Nog, and Brunt. Those are our top 4, yeah. Quark is number 1. Brunt, FCA. Quark. Quark tried to sell weapons in the episode The Key. Yes. The Ranger's lesson, though. Marauder Mo, yes. That was going to be my joke. Sergeant Montgomery when I got to number 1, and I kind of forgot about it. Fleet Paw Swiftback, $2. Made it to 100 likes. Yay. Nog is my number 1 Ferengi. Thank you for agreeing with me, Fleet Paw. Brendan also agrees with me, which is great. So does Eric. While Kirk refused to sell weapons of mass destruction, he was willing to sell them to pretty Vulcan ladies.
Hello.
Yes, that's true. That's true. So we got a lot of Quarks and a lot of Nogs, a few Brunts. So
good. Well, I feel like we should do like a rewatch of the Enterprise one and see if it holds up. It'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. Ron married Lita. Yes, he did. That's a winner in my book.
And that was definitely one of those no one could see it coming, but it's like, yeah, all right. I can, okay. Yeah, you know what? Why not?
Represent, man.
I mean, you know, when you live in a world where aliens are everywhere, you know.
When you live in a world where aliens are everywhere.
Attraction is, you know, attraction is whoever, whatever.
Attraction is.
Yes.
I'm back. Yay.
Do you want to read out Robert's question?
No.
Oh.
Can Sam answer whether he'll be doing Star Trek Galaxies Beyond?
What's that? Do you know what that is?
No idea.
Don't know what that is. I'm going to Google it. It's a very direct question. I'm confused by it.
Yeah. Thomas Hill, good afternoon, gentlemen. Top 10
Oh.
Ferengi today. Okay. That was interesting to hear your thoughts on this. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hopefully you enjoyed it. It was rather hard coming up with this list. Like I said, all the Ferengi episodes are like, okay. I can think of maybe 4 Ferengi off the top of your head. And then you got to look for the rest. And it was kind of rough for that. So.
And it's like, I was tempted to put, I'm sure all mentions, I was tempted to put the guy that, well, Picard's nemesis, I'll put it that way. I was tempted to put him, but I was like, yeah, but it's like, he's only memorable for the moment. The, you know, yes, Picard. That's it. That's a scene. It's not for a character. I don't know what that is. And then there was another one. There was there's the Ferengi in Rascals where they make the crew young or the crew become young, whatever that. And like again, I remember liking the episode and he's good, but I can't say I like this guy specifically. You know, so I'm like.
And Robert says it's a fan-made miniseries, Sam.
Well, it shouldn't be called Star Trek because that's not allowed. But I've never heard of it. Google didn't show anything, so. Do you have a link?
Galaxies Beyond. I haven't heard of it, so.
And I look on Facebook and it hasn't even got anything. So I think you're making it up because I can't see anything. Tell me what it is. Send us a link.
Should do a top 10 humans.
That's interesting. Wow.
Well, look at the percentages. Come on, out of like 90% of the people on Star Trek are humans. That'd be rough.
Yeah, but it wouldn't though, because you say that, but it's like if you jumped in, like you could. It's just the first 10 that come to mind, isn't it? It's like who stands out, and it'll all be women, and it'll all be the bigger breasts of the higher the rank. It's a very simple mathematics with Stuart.
That's a different list.
So you also have to yeah.
War is good for business. Peace is good for business.
Business is good for business.
Top 10 asshole admirals. There you go. There's a list.
I think there's 10. I think there's
probably exactly 10.
Oh, there's probably okay.
I think so.
Can we include the Picard lady because she's like a CNC? Is she still an admiral?
Clancy?
Okay, she's an admiral. Good. I've got a rank. Because she'd be pretty high. She'd be high on that list. I think. Like just an arsehole.
She's like Vance. She's like Vance. She's the CNC.
Yeah, but arsehole rating is pretty high on her. And Robert Westfield says, I'd like you to create it, and yes, it's made up for now. Well, then I'm not working on a fictional thing you want me to create. That's a weird question. Sounds like you just want to create things. Stop drinking the BuzzFeed. No, ginger ale, whatever the thing that they do in root beer. That was the Ferengi joke. Yeah.
I can try to write a screenplay over the next 12 years if you can wait that long. Wow.
Don't know what you're on about, Robert. I don't think you know what you're on about either. Put it down the
sheer
bottle.
fucking hubris.
Yes. No, I think we definitely get some good ideas from you guys with tens. This was like I said, an idea that someone threw out. I was like, that could be quite interesting. And also, I was interested by our suggestions. So have you got anything that's tickling your lobes for the next top 10?
Well, we've got a few. I got a few written down here.
Wow.
Top 10 holodeck episodes, Borg episodes, time travel episodes, guest actors, best two-parters, best comm badges, and best one-liners.
We did the one, memorable quotes we've done before. Yeah.
And ranking Jeffrey Combs.
Oh,
yeah. I don't know if he's got 10. Probably does.
I think he does. Just he has like very minimal a couple. It's like JG's that Klingon at the start of one episode once for a scene. It's like, hey, he's dead.
He was also a Vulcan, JG.
Yeah, but that's at least you can kind of like. Well, he very, very much died, but I definitely remember him more as that one. For sure. What do you guys think? Out of that list, what kind of tickled your fancy? What tickled your lobes?
Tuning 3434, €2. Top 10 Ferengi rules of acquisition. That'd be good. There's like 100 and however many, I can't remember. Most of them are a thing. Some are still unknown because they weren't mentioned. But and Dan, yes, we already did a comm badge live, but we've got more comm badges since then, and those are only top 5 each.
Yep.
And they weren't live. We didn't get to interact with you guys, so a lot of those top 10.
Hello.
I got cut off again.
Yeah.
The feed was great through the whole thing until this last little bit, and it's just drop.
Yes. No, I mean, and our brains have changed, and that's fine. I mean, what we've got, previous ones we got ship design eras, alien races, shuttlecraft, fan film ships, fantasy ship battles, Star Trek quotes, Federation uniforms, time travel stories, best JJ-verse moments, Enterprise bridges, Starfleet rifles, L-cars, hero ships, alien ships, Borg ships, phasers, Star Trek series, video games, villains, movies, series intros, film miniatures, video games modded, which I knew more about. That's fine. Top 10 visual effects, top 10 mistakes, top 10 space stations, Romulan ships, other Federation bridges, Romulan fast ships, alien makeup, Trek tech, away team members. That was a fun one. Federation captains, other. 17,000 views. That's got views. That's our most viewed ones. Wow. Top 10 Trekyards episodes. Wow. Forgot we did that. January 13th, 2016. How many thousands of things have we done since then? Goodness.
Yeah.
That's horrifying.
Yeah.
Everyone go watch Trekyards episode 100. Oh, Trekyards episode 100. Top 10 episodes. Goodness. Go watch that.
Let's get 6 more likes, guys. Hit that like button. We've got a few more super chats. Not a band account, $2. Top 10 Canadian lovers. Janeway's Fairhaven counts. Yes.
And I love Simon Heath says, nice one, guys. Here's episode 200. Well, Simon Heath, from 5 years ago, we did more than that. Did just a few more than that.
Back. Fleetpaw Swiftback, $2. Top 10 mysterious alien races we know nothing about and haven't been introduced to yet.
Oh. Well, the Draconians, the Bobelians, the Foley is a moron, and the Jacob's crap moderators and.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
But guys, $9 more, 6 more likes. Come on, we're right there. We're right there.
That would be a good one. Top 10 futuristic foods that sound interesting to eat, like Hasperat soup and Plomix soup and I don't know. There's a bunch of shit.
Well, Stuart, my number 1 is the blue cube from TOS.
Those are good. The blue raspberry flavor. Damn, son.
Yes.
Olivia Julius, $5. Top 10 Olivia's repeated super chat stories. Picard Fertilizer, Schedule, and Jeffrey's Tube Monsters. There you go.
I think
that's a whole episode.
I think we need the mods to actually make a list of that, because I'll be honest, I know obviously those ones, but you have so many. That's good. Tell us them all and we'll make a list. But I don't know. What are you thinking? What's tickling, let's say, your lobes for the next one? So guys can get excited as we get $3 more, and well, we've got the likes. There you go.
Alyssa Jericho makes a good point. Top 10 Star Trek novels. That'd be interesting.
I have read 10, but that's not fair to the rest of them.
It's true.
Like top 10 that you've read, which is 10 or 15. Well, I think the ones I've read are actually rather good. Well, I listened to them. Although that's the thing about audiobooks. They only make the best ones as audiobooks because it takes more money and effort to make them. So you tend to get sort of the cream of the crop like that. There it
Hi,
is.
I'm back. Anyway, as much as I want to say top 10 two-parters, is that really fair considering that Picard's all a one-parter? All of Picard, season 1 is one part. Not that there'd be anything for Picard in the list, because we only do good stuff. But I don't know. What I should do, and what I was going to do and didn't, is put up a poll on the community tab for next week. Like I'll probably up today or tomorrow, and you guys will have a week to vote on it. Let us know what suggestions you guys might like to see for next top 10 list. These are always fun to do. So, Matt Boardman, $5. Top 10 away missions. Also snipe.
Well, that's real broad, because that's anything on a ship, on a planet, on a station.
Yeah.
There's got to be at least 100 of those, at least.
Oh yes, easily. Top 10 alien ship designs.
Obviously we've done them all, but there's a few more now. Yeah. I think that one's less new. No, I thought we should do one that justifies with Discovery, Picard, and Lower Decks, because we've now had five new seasons of stuff.
We should top 10 Picard episodes, top 10 Lower Decks episodes, and top 10.
Well, we did that with our retrospectives.
I know. Top 10 New Trek episodes.
Or well, the point is doing like if we did a top 10 New Trek things, they'd all be from Lower Decks, and they'd all be references to Old Trek. Give or take. Okay, there you are.
Oh man, this connection's getting so bad. What the hell?
Only one more like.
Julius.
So.
One more like. Olivia Julius, $5. Here it is. 1, Jeffrey's Tube Monster. 2, ads. 3, Picard Fertilizer. 4, Piggy Treats.
Yeah.
Buggy Treats. And 5, Evil Fleet Paw. Yeah, there is a definite theme
I feel
there.
like I could order those. Yeah. Well, ask us on a drunk
Top
live.
10
That'll
tricorders.
probably funnier. Tricorders is not bad. That could be interesting. Yeah, I mean that could be.
Speaking of, did you guys get your email from One Company? They included a new CAD drawing of the inside of the tricorder. They are working on it, and it's looking and sounding pretty good. Hopefully, here it is. There, the CAD drawing is really neat. So I'm looking forward to the tricorder from the One Company for sure. So. Olivia Julius, $2. 6 Olivia many names.
What?
Oh, 6. Yeah, 5 and 6, because 5 was in the last super chat. 6 Olivia's many names. Gotcha.
Yes.
Top 10 continuity errors. I think we did that one already.
We did
didn't
5, and that was real fun. Although now Discovery and Lower Deck, Discovery and Picard have some new ones.
Top 10 canon breaking moments.
Ooh. Wow. I feel like that's such a mic drop one we should do next. Like shattering the... I think perhaps the koala in the sky wants us to see the breaking canon. But now we have to quantify that, Stuart, because is it breaking canon moments at the time it was written? Because what if it's been fixed after the fact?
Yes. At the time it was written.
Okay. Yeah. Because like one I think of instantly, not to give it away, but is the TOS transporter effect on the Janolan. Doesn't make sense. Like it breaks, but they said we wanted it visually. Breaks canon, doesn't work. I mean, you can force it, but it doesn't make sense naturally.
Shouldn't force it. You should always warm it up first. Captain Chili Bina puts in $2. Snipe. Fleet Paw Swiftback $2. Evil Fleet Paw approves of Olivia's last super chat.
Nice.
Olivia Julius $2. 7 jokes that fall short. Oh, there's too many there. There's too many.
Yes.
And Matt Boardman $5. Top 10 Prime Directive violation moments. Oh, that's a good one.
But I feel like the Prime Directive itself is just non-interference. That limits it, whereas I would consider Prime Directive like the highest order of things you shouldn't do. Like Equinox, that feels like a Prime Directive break, but it isn't. You know? So where's that line? Is it actually Prime Directive breaks, or anything's just really horrendously awful?
The Equinox should be on the list, but it should be justified depending on where you rank it, because it was deemed necessary, essentially. But would Starfleet approve? See, that's a whole... That'd be a good live discussion, just in general.
Just
all the Prime Directive...
Oh, well.
All the Prime Directive justifications, honestly.
Yeah, top 10 Prime Directive got away with it. I just start listing Picard. It's like, yep. And then obviously, Kirk, before it was a thing. It's like, that. I mean, come on, just TNG. Like, that episode where they're not warp capable. Violation of Prime Directive. Stop violating, because they haven't worked out yet. Oh, guys, we're $4 away and 1 like. We're right there. We actually managed to hit another milestone without really trying, which was great. But what do you guys think? Vote now or forever hold your peace. Do you want to see top 10 canon-breaking moments? To quantify that as moments that at the time of release broke canon. Doesn't matter if they're fixed after the fact, things they knew or failed to research properly and broke canon. Yes or no? Go for it.
Rip. Matt Boardman, $5. Top 10 Prime Directive violation moments. I think I read that one already. Fleet Paw Swiftback, $2. Top 10 reveals we didn't see coming.
Ooh.
My hairless chest on an anti-Trekker live stream.
I remember that. Yeah. I remember that. I heard about that from people as well. They told me about it. I was like, oh, yeah. Recorded for all posterity.
Olivia Julius, $2. 8. The evil Dr. Dot. 9. The pug doesn't eat enough.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. Yes. Getting a couple of yeses.
Yes. No no's.
Well, there we go.
Chili Bina, $2. Yes to canon breaking moments. Also, snipe. Olivia Julius, $5. Number 10. Moderators versus administrators. The Romulan story. Well, looks like canon breaking. God damn, that's gonna be a tough one to do.
And we have to justify it as well. That's gonna be very like justify it. Because you're gonna say Enterprise a lot, and that's fine, but you have to justify them.
We're gonna miss some. That's the problem. I'm not gonna get all the ones that you're gonna mention. One and be like, why isn't that?
Yeah. And the problem is, I feel like I feel like just the idea of like, so there's one that sticks out of mind for visual when we did continuity mistakes is when the captain in the JoJo films his comm badge is not there from one shot to the next. Like that is a massive.
Just watched that the other day on CTV Sci-Fi.
How did they get away with
look,
that?
It's not there. And as soon as he turns around to sit in his chair, it's there.
And they could have CG'd it in. Like, they did it in, you know what I mean? Like, stupid. Like, that is also a canon mistake, because he's not wearing a uniform 1 second apart. Like, you know what I mean? But but it's a stupidly big one, but it's also not good enough to count.
Should be top 10 universe breaking canon mistakes.
Yeah.
Or universe effect, like something like that.
Yeah,
not minor continuity issues. That should be.
No, that's why continuity we had the other video. But yeah, canon breaking for sure. Yeah. Oh my god, but it's tricky because like, and I'll say another one just to annoy you. Maybe, I don't know. Like, with the Romulans having cloaks in Enterprise, I guess that would be a canon breaking mistake.
Oh yep, that pisses me off to no end.
Because they say they haven't got cloaks. Well, they don't say they haven't got those first detected cloaks.
And see, I would. See, I'd get nitpicky though. I'd be like, the fact that there was no visual communications between the Romulans and the Federation during the Romulan War.
And there wasn't Enterprise. There wasn't.
I know they tried to. I know they tried. I know, but it's not for the reasons you think.
Okay.
It's the technology at the time, but whatever.
I feel like in the same exact vein, though, and this is still not being explained, Takuvma having a cloak in Discovery is just a canon mistake. Like, they don't have cloaks. Like, you're just breaking canon. There's no... Even if you had in your mind they have Romulan collaborators, that was never said, or even hinted. So, Takuvma having cloaks is canon breaking, and the Klingon cloak is canon breaking. Because you can't say, oh my god, a cloaking shield. Yeah, well, yeah. Certainly.
Yeah, be able to detect the cloak from squadrons away.
I mean, how embarrassing is that? Like, 5 years later on the Enterprise, like, oh, a cloaking device, I've never seen that before. It's like, you fought them 4 years ago.
Or
what do you mean?
Or the Klingon War that decimated 60% of the Federation fleet, and they almost made it to Earth.
But a Klingon's never been to Earth. Never been to Earth before. That was a canon thing said by General Martok. So again, Discovery breaks canon there.
Yep.
That's what annoys people say Discovery never breaks canon. They have broke canon. You can explain it, but they never tried to because they just didn't care. Yeah.
And it should be said that when the Klingons almost made it to Earth, and it says simulation ended, simulation is spelt wrong.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a simple thing. But then again, environmental systems is spelled wrong in TOS on one sign.
And the Enterprise has 21 and 36 decks in the same film. It's like, just proofread the damn script, please. Come on.
Yeah. Fleetpaw Swiftback, $2. Mirror Fleetpaw has taken control of this account.
Oh, shit.
Dun, dun, dun.
I wonder what he's going to do with it. Probably nothing. Because he hasn't got the stones to fire the quantums. No.
Top 10 reasons why Discovery sucks.
Well, that's not fair. We'd have 10 different...
Card sucks.
Top 10 reasons Lower Deck sucks. Oh.
Whoa, that's impossible. That is a list that could not be made, I don't think.
Number 10 reason. It's just too good that it makes everything else look bad next to it. That's why it sucks. It's just too good. But yeah, there we go, guys. We got our thing. And that's going to be a fun but hard one. Fun but hard. And I really hope we're different lists. We'll probably have some different ones. Same ones, I'm sure. But we did do previous ones where they've all been different, which is fun. Yeah. Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Well, we should probably call that quits. We hit our like goal. We hit our other goal. So
we did.
That's awesome.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Have a wonderful rest of the day, guys. And I'm going to head to London tomorrow because it wasn't on Thursday. It was on tomorrow. So I'm going to go to sleep soon,
Yay.
which is not going to go well, I'm sure. But as long as I'm not asleep at 5, then I'll be less dying. Yay.
Tuning 3434, £2. Top 10 why Captain and Commander suck. Drama. Dun dun dun.
And banned.
Olivia Julius, $5. Mirror Fleetpaw, he must be nice. I'm gonna go slipping down the lane with him. Goodbye. Okay.
But thanks, guys, and I guess we'll see you a slightly different schedule, but probably still Friday. But depends how awake I am. Maybe Thursday, because now I have Thursday more free. Yay. We'll see.
Well, Thursday I have an appointment for...
There we go. Ignore that then.
Precious at the vet.
Ooh.
4 o'clock, 4:30.
Oh.
So I don't think I'll be back by 5.
Not a problem. Now we're gonna film a fan requested video this week, too.
Yes.
Boom. All right.
Patreon.
So until
Anyway,
then,
guys. He's Commander Cockins.
he's Captain Foley.
See you later.
Bye, guys.